Welcome to the DJ Force X podcast, episode 16. This week we have Bret from Blue Stahli. I've been wanting to get hold of him for a while. It was totally worth it. He's got a new album coming out in October 2nd to be precise. It's called The Devil. It'll be available in digital and physical formats. Check out fixedstore.com/Blue Stahli. That's FIXT store.com/Blue Stahli, and get your pre-orders in. It's worth it. It's a great album. If not, download it via Amazon, iTunes, all those sort of places will be available too. What I want to do as well, if you don't mind, if you can rate and review these shows that I'm putting out on iTunes and Stitcher, that would be awesome. It just helps just get the population up and listening, and gets these artists a little bit of extra exposure that they deserve, through their work. And also check out my radio show. If you want to hear some Blue Stahli, if you want to hear some Richie Nix or any of my previous guests, check out my radio show. They're on Tuesday nights on totalrock.com at 11 p.m. UK time. That's 6 p.m. East Coast, 3 p.m. Pacific. Also, it goes out on the Mix Radio Network on Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 a.m. if you're up that late in the UK. But I also upload them after they've aired as well, so you can stream them, and now you can download them. If you go to mixcrate.com/DJ Force X, you can now download my show, which is awesome. So you can have it anywhere you want to have it. If you can do all that for me, it's just a slight request. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not advertising anything apart from myself. But we're going to get into the interview now. This is Blue Stahli. Enjoy. Welcome, everybody. This week I have a very special guest on my show. I have Bret, also known as Blue Stahli. Welcome, Bret.
Yes, thank you very much.
No problem. How are you today?
Doing fantastic. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Yeah, I got a rare day off today, so I'm,
Oh, actually, you got to take advantage of those.
Yes, exactly, and the weather's good as well, so it's been a good day.
Beautiful.
Excellent. All right, so we're here today, obviously to speak to you, and just for the benefit of my listeners, because I've got a lot from overseas and things.
Sure.
Who or what is Blue Stahli?
Well, first of all, just to get it out there, when we're beginning the interview here, you guys will hear me coughing quite a lot. I'm not coming down with something. I'm not dying, and you certainly won't catch it digitally. That is the fun of living with asthma, which you earn from playing way too many smoky clubs and biker bars back in your formative years. So. Yes. Damn all of that, and I'm sorry ahead of time. It's can't help it.
Yeah,
gotta do it.
Not to worry.
But to jump to your question, Blue Stahli is a one-man, that's me, musical project, and it's really a multi-genre sort of thing. So like the entire musical force of this ranges everywhere from electronic rock to down tempo, to pop, to breakbeat, to weird experimental stuff, and trailer music, and all sorts of weird genres in between.
Yeah, no, I often play you on my radio show, so listeners who listen to both these would have heard you before.
That's awesome.
They would have heard Ultra Numb in particular, and Suit Up as well.
Oh, beautiful.
They're the two main tracks I've played, but I've played tracks you've collaborated with Cell Dweller as well.
Yes.
It is a great blend of those particular genres as well. That's what my show kind of specializes in, if you will.
That's fantastic.
Of that kind of crossover.
So look at your track list from your last show. I'm like, oh, this guy throws some eclectic stuff down. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and you got 2 tracks on the last one as well. So
yeah, oh yeah, trust me, I was like, waving little victory fingers around on that.
Yes, no, I saw your tweet, so thank you for that. Well.
Yes, yeah, I wish I would have been smart enough to catch it ahead of time so I can tell people like, oh, shit, go here right now.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll let you know when it goes out again. I was chatting to one of your label associates, Richie Nix, last week.
Yes, yeah.
And he's also, you're from Detroit, right?
I live in Detroit now.
Okay.
I'm actually from Phoenix, Arizona, which is a wildly divergent area and attitude and everything. So I grew up in the desert and will always be a desert rat. And moving up here was the first time that I had seen snow. So it's
okay.
Even though I've been here for a bit, it still kind of catches me off guard. I'm like, oh my God, what is all these pine trees instead of cacti? Not a fan.
So how long have you been in Detroit for?
Well, I arrived here in September of 2007.
Okay.
So long enough to be way over snow. Okay,
fair enough. Yeah, as you can tell from my accent, I'm from England, so we get like a lot of cold weather there.
Oh, and, absolutely.
We get a bit of snow as well, occasionally. So.
Yeah, it's like as soon as from that, I'm like, oh, I can't bitch about the rain to this guy.
Yes. Well, now I live in Florida, and it's just hot and humid all the time.
Oh my God!
So I can complain. All year round, having like a winter month going over Christmas and whatnot, and it's hot, and this is really weird.
But
it's kind of palm trees everywhere as well. So
awesome.
No, I was going to say because obviously Richie's sound has that kind of crossover element as well. I thought that might be a Detroit thing, but if you're from elsewhere, then has that always like been part of your musical styles? Have you always been wanting to cross over those genres, or is it kind of evolved from something else?
Oh, it's been there from the start. I because I started out. I mean, like a lot of people wind up at this point after playing in a lot of different bands, or like, oh, I was in a bar blues band for 10 years, and then I did this for 10 years, and that was not my path at all. Back in 1995. I started getting into programming and sampling and stuff like that with these little programs called trackers that were very small programs that ran in DOS and pretty much had no graphical interface. It was everything ran vertically, and you had to do things with hexadecimal, and it looks like a spreadsheet when you're seeing everything fly past you. But it all very much had that like underground hacker ethos to it. So everything was like, yeah, we're like sharing stuff around and we're posting things on BBSs, and here's a pack full of drum loops and use them in your songs. And like the earliest ones were all 8-bit. And I just like any style that I wanted to do, I would attempt and do very, very terribly in these trackers, and did like for the longest time, that's how I saw music, and to a large part today, that's kind of how I see music in my head. Even when I'm working in something like Pro Tools or Cubase, I still kind of have that tracker background, and it's something that I'm diving back into now. But I was such a big fan of movie soundtracks, like not even the scores themselves, which were great, but the things that would be like event soundtracks.
Yeah.
Where on one album you would get everything from hip hop to rock to electronic to ambient to singer-songwriter, just everything living on one album. And I liked everything and had no illusions of like, oh, well, this is just going to be this is absolutely my escape from everything and what I'm going to pour myself into. I don't care if I ever make it big or not. This is just, I have to do this or I'll die. So I just did every style that came to me, and again, I don't do them good. I don't do them well, but I've always liked doing a little bit of everything in my own way.
That's cool, because I mean, your music, it is good. Trust me.
Oh, well, thank you.
I've enjoyed it for a few years now. I stumbled upon you. I think SoundCloud, I think, was probably the place where I found some of your tracks. And I think it was a Korn mashup. I think it was Freak on a Leash.
I know exactly what you're talking about. There was a mashup artist named Aggro One who did a lot of he did a lot of Blue Stahli mashups, and I know for a fact he did 1 or 2 Blue Stahli Korn tracks. So I would not be surprised if that was one of his that you heard. I love the hell out of mashup stuff, and I must have come across that as well. So that's cool. I'm glad that something that ridiculous and awesome led you to me.
Yes, it was it's a gateway drug, if you will.
Oh, beautiful.
So yeah, who inspired you musically? Obviously, I know you're talking about, back in the day using trackers and things just to produce music via these systems. But was there anyone that particularly you heard something and thought, I want to do something like that, or something when you're making music you think about a certain artist or anything?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was like 1995 was like the magic year when I discovered like many different things. With getting into trackers, that also led to getting into the demo scene that was like reaching a fever pitch at that point and still going today. And at the time, the biggest demo scene group was this group called Future Crew, and it was this like Wu-Tang style collective of coders and artists and musicians and stuff like that. And there was one composer, Purple Motion, who was like he was like the rock star of that group. Purple Motion was damn cool. Skaven was damn cool. And that was the sort of thing where it's like any mod or S3M or something that he had done, like I have to have this. I have to see how he's putting this stuff together. That was absolutely incredible. And that's also around the time that I discovered Clayton's earlier works, like Circle of Dust and Argyle Park, and things like The Prodigy and Juno Reactor. And those things really sort of honed it all in for me. I'm like, oh, well, I want to do a mix of all of this stuff together. And I would just listen intently on headphones, trying to reverse engineer.
That's a healthy amount of influence there as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I love The Prodigy. It's one of my favorite groups
of all time.
Seeing them live as well, it's fantastic. Like,
man.
Jilted Generation era. That was when I was sort of out and about at gigs and stuff. So anything prior to that, I was a bit too young to be hitting the rave scene. But everything past that is just been brilliant. I love their stuff. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I would walk down the street. I lived a couple blocks away from this record store called Zia Records. I think they're only in Arizona. They may also be. Maybe there's a location in Vegas, but I think they're only in Arizona, and they do like underground albums and used CDs and stuff like that. And always the weirdest things you could possibly think of, they had, and usually had for like $5 or so. So I would save up all my money, walk a couple blocks down there, and go get a bunch of like rave and techno compilations from the UK and bring it back and just have my mind blown by the way that this was all done.
That sounds like kind of like me. We had obviously the same sort of compilation tapes in local record stores.
Right.
It would be just like a DJ mixed these tracks together. But it was like the Prodigy, the Chemical Brothers, Underworld, all these like British dance acts and things.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Cowgirl from Underworld is still one of my absolute favorite songs. And like one of my life goals is like, I will do a cover of that song at some point in a weird way.
Do it. I would appreciate that. It would be, that would be awesome. No, I love Underworld again. It's one of my favorite, like when I was growing up, just these dance artists that came out of the UK, just fantastic. And Underworld, I still listen to them now,
absolutely.
Cowgirl's a great track. I'm trying to think of the tracks. It's been a while since I've done the track. I know the album names, but not the tracks.
Right.
But Dub No Bass with My Head Man, that album.
Yeah, that's a classic.
And Second Toughest in the Infants as well.
Yes. Yeah, those were very formative for me as well. And they still sound good today. Like that's the thing. Like it's not like today everyone sort of branches off into like they get very elitist with their genres and subgenres, and you go back to some of that stuff. You pull up old things from from the 90s and from the UK scene, like Underworld or Stereo MCs or Black Grape, and it's like this has no genre, and it sounds just as fresh today as it did then.
Yeah, exactly. Pearl's Girl was the track I really like.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
One. It's a good driving track, that one.
God, yes.
And another band as well, Orbital. Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah, I saw them live actually in
sweet.
1999. They played with Crystal Method and Low Fidelity All Stars in Long Beach, California, and I drove from Phoenix to Long Beach and bummed around California for a little bit to go see that. That was really my first like electronic show.
Nice. Actually, that's a good lineup as well.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. So some people, obviously, people who listen to a radio show would have heard you, but some people may have heard you and not realised that they have. I did do a little bit of research and found that your music was used on some games and some trailers for some big films. So you got like, is it Dead Rising 3?
I'm in Dead Rising 2. Actually, let me go to my. This is so sad. I have to go to my own site to look at, which anyone listening to this, my site is very much in need of being updated. Let's see, where are my games? The Evil Within, Dead Rising 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, the Vengeance DLC, and Call of Duty Online. And trailers are. There are many of them, but some of the biggest and most recent were X-Men Days of Future Past, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Iron Man 3, Star Trek Into Darkness, and a bunch of cool stuff like that.
Cool. I was going to ask, how did those opportunities come up?
Funny thing is, those happened. That began happening right at the inception of Blue Stahli. I came to the Cell Dweller Studios not to be an artist, but to be a studio worker. I was going to be doing scut work, like, time correcting and editing and stuff like that, not composing music, just like only doing editing and stuff like that and whatever needed to be done. And at the time, I had moved on from Trackers and was doing stuff in Cubase, but also at that time is when Cell Dweller was heavily into Pro Tools. And he said, well, if you're going to be working here, then you have to learn Pro Tools. And like all those DAWs work basically the same with a couple, fundamental and cosmetic differences. And so he said, okay, I've never taught anyone how to use Pro Tools before. So just work the way that you normally would. Just write a song. This will just be like a learning experience thing. Just write a song as you normally would. And as soon as you reach an impasse, and you're hitting a wall where it's like, oh, in Cubase, to route this thing this way, I would do this. What's the Pro Tools equivalent of that? Because like when you reach that point, then come get me. I'll help you out. So I start doing that, and he takes a listen to what I'm writing and kind of scratches his chin and says, "Huh, can you sing?" I'm like, not well, but sure. So he said, "Okay, write lyrics and a vocal line, and then this'll for this track that you're working on." And this will be a good way to show you vocal comping and vocal editing and stuff like that. So I did that and had the very nerve-wracking experience of singing the first, the first Blue Stahli thing that I had written in front of Clay while he was in the room. And it's like, yeah, no pressure. This is just the guy that you looked up to forever, and now you're on the spot and have to sing and sound just terrible in front of them. So I did that, and while that song was still in demo form, it landed in the DVD collection of some TV show called Witchblade. It's like a hot chick superhero kind of thing. Okay. And that song later went on to be Kill Me Every Time, which is on the debut album. Mm. And from that point, Clay had said, okay, you're, with what that track did, you're way more valuable to this label as an artist rather than an editor for the studio. So in January 1 of 2008, I went full time, and before writing the rest of the artist material, my production boot camp was to write a 22-song production album for film and TV that was basically the label's way of saying, show us what you got. Like, can you do rock? Can you do hip hop? Can you do electro? Like, whatever. Like, show us what you can do.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I turned that album in and wound up whittling a couple tracks off of it and released it as Anti-Sleep Volume 1. And I mean, that's the funny thing, was originally the Anti-Sleep stuff was not going to be released to the public. That was just going to be something that I did for like, oh, this will help pay the rent while I'm writing the artist stuff.
Yeah.
But it turned out so cool, and I was, and I wound up being proud of it as well. And like, well, I kind of like coming out of the gate being a multi-genre thing, so I'm not painting myself into the corner of like, oh, I always have to do rock stuff or I suck, or I always have to do breakbeat or I suck. Like that, I would like jam a fork in my eye. I'd be so bored if I had to do one style. So I love the fact that the first thing that came out for Blue Stahli was just this multi-genre mishmash going everywhere from breakbeat to electronic to heavy electronic rock to down tempo.
No, that's cool. I mean, I streamed some of your previous work as well via the various stream sites that are available.
Yes, awesome.
And the sort of the evolution in the sound.
Yes.
From where obviously you say you started off as which you did. You started off as a multi-genre artist, but just the production and the songwriting and how that's evolved up until your new album, which is due out is it October 2nd?
Yes,
October 2nd. Called The Devil. Just letting the people know.
Oh yeah.
Again, it's a mix of like the guitars. You've got the big sort of electronic beats and the bass as well, and like you've got a real like catchy sing along pop melodies as well with it.
Oh yeah.
So it is really catchy. I found myself like humming it at work. And
that's fantastic. that was. I'm glad that you caught onto the pop influence with it, because that was very much a pointed effort for this album. I wanted to do something a little different than the self-titled Blue Stahli album. So with this one, I kind of wanted to experiment with like what if I pulled back on like the screamy element, made the vocals more melodic and more pop, and really focused on the songwriting. But by that same turn, since I'm ramping all the screamy stuff down, what if I made the guitar parts that much bigger and that much darker?
Yeah, no, definitely, because that first track, it's actually track 2 on your album. I can't remember the name of it in front of me, but
Not Over Till We Say So.
That's it. Not Over Till We Say So. It comes in with like that kind of like real thrashy guitar and blast beat, and it was like it took me by surprise to start with, because I was like, oh, perhaps it's gone full on,
right,
doing a full on rock track, But no, it went off. It's one of the standout tracks on it as well, because it instantly got my attention. I also dig Armageddon,
yes,
Down in Flames, and Rockstar. I'm looking at the track listing now. So, but those tracks I really gravitate to. Like I said, they're the particular sort of standouts.
That's fantastic, and I'm also really glad to hear that you dig Rockstar, because I was almost for a time considering not having it on the album, because the lyrics of it are so in the opposite direction of of everything else. Like most all of the other songs are very, they have more of a serious subject matter. Are some of them are pointing a finger, whether that's at another person or at me or just something in general, like a larger concept. And that one is very much a positive, uplifting track in the middle of all of that. And that spawned from when I go back to Phoenix and visit for the holidays and things like that. I take that time to to get some supplies and stuff like that for this place called the Crisis Nursery, and it's like where they they help like at risk kids and families and stuff like that, and they're it's located in South Phoenix, and they don't always have programs like that could always use help.
Yeah,
whether it's that or even just stuff at like a children's hospital. Which I mean, my mom worked in the psych division of a children's hospital for years, and hearing the stories of all these kids and like the things that they've gone through at such a young age, it's like, man, like I just want to make a simple catchy anthem for both the kids in that situation and the families in that situation. Because I've been in the hospital on other people's behalf plenty, and in times like that, when you're sitting by someone's bedside and it's like 3 a.m. and you've been there every night, you don't necessarily want like a deep labyrinthine complex notion to pick apart. Like, I just need something simple to get me through this. I need like a shot of coffee to get me going. That sort of thing. So that's what that song was intended to be. And part of me was like, I know there's going to be people who bitch about this song being on the record going like, oh, these lyrics are cheesy. Oh, why is this happy song on here? And they can kiss my ass.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously putting together an album, it's got to have, because if you keep along one sort of steady songwriting theme, then it all becomes, even though they might sound slightly different, they all become the same.
Oh, absolutely. Having
that break in the, I think that's why it was a track that really stuck out to me, was because it was that different. And it breaks up the album almost, and it makes the album structure more like a song structure. Because I come from like a musical background as well. I was in a band, put out a couple of albums. So putting together albums, you listen to the songs in different orders.
Right.
And you consciously try and place them in order to make them sound, consistent.
Sure.
Or as I do, it's the same theory I use when I DJ, when I create sets and things, is I do it as though I'm writing a song. So you've got parts that go up, you've got parts that go down, you've got a break in the middle, things like that.
Right.
And that's how it felt to me as well. So just sort of that track, like you say, it is different. It is almost in the other direction. But it works. It worked for me when I listened to it. So
that's awesome. And that's good to get that. That's good to get an outside perspective of someone who likes that it's there and for those purposes. Because I mean, like, one of the other things that had me keep it in was the fact that, like, I never want to come off as one of those artists who's like, oh, I'm so dark and disturbed and mysterious. Oh, I can't even bear to be in the light. Can you tell from my glamour shots? Like, I can't. Like, anytime I see people talking that way or presenting themselves that way, I'm like, oh my God, dude, find a fainting couch already. Find a fainting couch and a cigarette extender and shut up. Just make music. So, because that's not my personality at all. Like, I'm kind of a goof. I love comedy, and that's not even really the stuff that I gravitate to. So this album kind of is everything all thrown together and smashed into a blender.
So have you got any? I saw you were recording a music video. Was it for Armageddon?
Oh, there's a lyric video out for Armageddon.
Okay,
and yeah, that was done by a production company called Cold Eyes. There's been some awesome lyric videos for this thing. Cold Eyes did Armageddon. Animatronic did Enemy and Ready Aim Fire. And I actually did the lyric videos for Down in Flames and The Fall. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Like, and that probably reflects very well in those videos. But regardless of how much I suck at that, I'll be doing one for the track The Devil as well.
Cool. And are you actually going to be producing like a full sort of cinematic music video for any of the tracks on there?
Oh yeah. There's a specific director that I have in mind, and a direction that I want to go for one of the songs. I can't spoil it because he's not on board yet.
Okay.
And I'd hate for people to get all hype about it and then find out like, oh, it's something completely different, and this video is actually just Bret in a tutu for like 3 minutes. Right. That's totally what we wanted.
Yeah. I'll say, because I really enjoyed the Ultra Numb video.
Yes, that was an absolute blast to do. That was directed by Grant Morman, and he's actually doing he did a film that they're still in editing for called The Dunes that Clayton of Cell Dweller is doing the score for. So people can watch out for that very soon. And the Ultra Numb video is very much 50% Grant's ideas and 50% my ideas just smashed together. We had a couple like pre-visualization meetings where we're like, oh, what if we did this? Oh yeah, well that's cool. What if we did this? And a little fun fact about that video is that the scene in the park where there's like the two Stepford wives who pull out the heart and start going crazy with knives, and there's just blood everywhere. Yeah. The blonde Stepford wife in that is a girl named Heather Antos, and she now, at the time, she was an actress, and now she works at Marvel Comics in New York and is an editor on all the Star Wars books and Deadpool. Oh wow! So I'm actually reading the Star Wars books at the moment. So that's pretty cool. Are you really? That's for the name Heather Antos, and that is the girl in Ultra Numb. Crazy. Ah, cool. I'll look for the name on them. I'll grab them out of the box after this. Yeah, I can't remember what issue it is, but there's an issue of Deadpool where she's actually in it. Like the artist drew her in, just like turning the panel and waving because she's the editor. She's on them for stuff. And they're like, we gotta put her in the book. She's cool. Yeah, no, I'll check through. I've got a couple of Deadpool ones as well, so I'll have a look, see if I can spot it. That's awesome. I'll find out. I'll hit you on Twitter. I'll find out what issue it is. All right, cool. Yeah, no, definitely. So back to your album. What was the meaning behind? I mean, it's called The Devil, so it's obvious in itself. But sure, what was there any specific meaning behind it? Well, it's weird. The thing that sparked even making an album called The Devil, and then what the concept wound up being, were completely unrelated. So when my grandfather passed, I was back in Phoenix, and I was there in hospice with him, and then left. And it's like he knew we were all there, and was such a stubborn son of a bitch. He waited until everyone left and then passed. He's like, well, I'm not gonna pass away with everyone in here. I'm gonna let everyone go home and then I'll do it. So he did that. I extended my trip so we could do a memorial service, and was going through old family albums to find pictures to use, and stumbled onto this picture of from Halloween, and I'm probably like 2 or 3 years old in this homemade devil baby outfit. And I show it to my mom, and I'm like, is this me? Is this me in this thing? She's like, oh yeah, me and a lady down the cul-de-sac we grew up in made that outfit for you. And it's this bright red devil baby outfit, and on the front is a pitchfork. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is funny as hell, especially because it's me. This has to be the cover of an album or a T-shirt or something. And so right then I decided to make an album called The Devil, and had my graphics guy like pull it into Photoshop and partially trace and then recreate that pitchfork. And that's the pitchfork that you see branded on everything. Yeah. And then the chapter 1 and chapter 2, the two EPs released for this record, both feature that devil baby on the front. And in the Fixed store, which is fixedstore.com/Blue Stahli, there's T-shirts of the devil baby, there's stickers of the devil baby, all that fun stuff. And I mean, so I had the title of the record and a title track before I even really had before I even really had the concept.
Yeah.
And I'm typically the sort that like I don't really say what the meaning of a particular song is, because I kind of go the David Lynch route and leave it up to other people's interpretation.
Yeah.
And but that being said, the lyrics to that track are I think are very, like, I do a lot of writing things in abstraction, but that track to me feels pretty nail on the head and like, oh, this is what he's talking about. Okay. So it's been fun to watch people speculating online, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or comments on YouTube, going like, dude, your album's called The Devil. Are you satanic or something? And people like working themselves into a tizzy, going like, I can't believe I supported this band. And like, he's like a devil worshiper. I'm like, just wait until you hear the song, fella. Why don't you calm down?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very American thing that I found. So,
yeah, we love our opinions.
Yes, and there are plentiful. What I took away from it was like listening to the album, listening to the song. If you don't mind me sort of,
no, yeah, absolutely,
speculating on it myself, but it's like the devil is in each track, if that makes sense. Like you've got like Armageddon, which is a pretty obvious track name, you know, right. Armageddon, End of the World, and you got things like Down in Flames, but that was more like the devil within the person, as in, you know, watching these like teen stars suddenly implode, and everybody's watching, you know, then no one's helping, everyone's watching, you know, that kind of thing. And it just like that particular examples of where that where I sort of felt, you know, the name kind of fell into each track, if you will.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is like I don't think I could ever for the life of me do a full on like concept record. Like I leave that fully to Cell Dweller. Like he's the one who's the master of doing like, you know, like a full overarching story and a full concept album and stuff like that. And as much as I kept telling myself like there's not going to be like an overarching theme. This is really just going to be for this one song. Like as much as I told myself that, like you picked up on, a lot of the songs do fit under the same thematic umbrella.
Cool. Excuse me. I'm coughing now.
Oh my God, it's contagious.
It is.
I lied about the digital thing. Everyone.
Yeah, no, I just got over a cold, so I'm just.
Oh, I'm just getting one. So apparently it really is going both ways.
It is a statewide or, you know, countrywide epidemic, I think.
It is.
There is no known cure. So, so when you're writing your songs, where do you start? Do you start with your lyrics or is it? Do you start with like you put together some kind of track and then try and piece the lyrics onto it, or is it you know, just a sort of natural progression? You're playing along with the guitar or something, and you're, you know, humming out various keys and things. The
only track that I've ever had. That I've only ever really had a lyrical thing first was the actual title track, The Devil. I knew somewhere in the chorus, I'm the devil would be the hook. And that's really the only time that's happened, because lyrics are absolutely the hardest part for me and the part that I dread. Like I can sit and like sometimes the music comes very easily. Sometimes it's beating my head into a wall until it's hamburger. But even still, like as difficult as some of the musical times are, I still will take that gladly over sitting down with an empty text document or an empty paper and going, okay, make words now and make them rhyme. That is not my forte at all. So the way that things typically come together, sometimes I'll have an idea for, you know, I'll kind of hear a bit of what I want the song to be in my head, you know, a general like, it should be a beat like this and a riff that kind of has this vibe. Sometimes it'll be something like that. Sometimes it'll be a melody that comes to me. The memos on my phone are full of me driving and singing in horrible, horrible melodies into it, or going like, okay, this is a guitar riff, you know, and then bringing it back into the studio and saying, okay, what the hell what the hell was I trying to get across in there? I have no idea. And maybe I should have been driving during that point because I clearly have a head injury. So sometimes it's that. And sometimes it's, the only way to really get results is to work when you don't feel inspired. So sometimes I'll just pull up a beat and start noodling around on bass or a guitar or synths. And a lot of what I do sounds the way it does because I've tried everything else that sucked and didn't work for me first. And then by process of elimination went like, oh, well, now here's why we have the chorus to this, because I just sucked horribly 23 times in a row before this happened. So it's the writing and production process is failure, 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 gold.
Yes, that's pretty much the same for me as well.
Right?
It's just you keep going, and then you get to that point where you're almost about to give up.
Yes,
and then you get it, and you just you try and get yourself to that point every time, but there's no quick route to it.
No, there's not.
You have to fail that 26 times before you can.
Absolutely, yeah, and it doesn't matter how many times you've done it before, because just about every song has the same path. First, I'm really excited about it. Then I'm being workmanlike about it. Then I reach a brick wall and I'm like, well, this is impossible. This song will never get done, or I suck and I should never make music again. Maybe I should just go dig a hole, bury myself in it. But then pushing past that is when the actual art for me happens. I mean, everyone's process is different, but it doesn't matter how many songs I write. That is the process every single time.
Yeah.
And you just confirmed, like, it's, I'm glad it's not just me. We would probably be surprised how many people have that exact same process.
Yeah. It's like you have to stop thinking about it, I guess, is probably because you go into it thinking, I've got this great idea.
Yeah.
And you get some of it down, and like you say, you put it in your memo in your phone. I've done the same thing. I go there with a beat or whatever, and then it just doesn't go right. It doesn't go right. And then you stop caring, or you get to that point where you're not caring as much. And then that's when you sort of, I guess your brain just opens up to where you want it to be.
Absolutely.
But you can't start in that area because you're excited about it. You care about it. You want it to do this certain thing, but you just can't get it to do it. And then when you're just, like I say, when I said before, you're just about to give up, when you stop caring so much about it, that's when it happens. And then you
absolutely,
there it is.
It's almost like you're in a courtship style thing. If you're the type of person to every day send flowers and candy, that person's gonna be like, I don't know about this, man. Like, you gotta take some time. But if you just kind of stroll past, go like, hey, what's up? And like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this guy's not overly invested. He doesn't seem like the type to burn himself with candle wax and draw weird pictures at night. So, yeah, let's go get coffee, dude.
I love your descriptions. They're great. Are you, sorry. I'll start that again without my voice breaking.
No problem.
There you go. Are you planning on taking this on the road?
Absolutely. Yeah. I had a absolute blast doing the 2-man Cell Dweller live show in 2010 and 2011, and I loved the hell out of being on stage and jumping around for people, and even more than that, getting to meet the people afterwards, like finishing the show, and despite being all sweaty and gross, being able to go out and shake people's hands, or just to meet the people face to face that are supporting this, the people who came out to say like, hey, this is worth going out and supporting and seeing live. I think that's amazing. And the original idea that I had, and I actually started trying to work out the particulars of the production and some of the arrangements. The original idea that I had was to do Blue Stahli as a one man show, and I knew that I didn't want to do like if I were doing a one man thing, I didn't want to like just have the electric guitar and try to reproduce the songs as they were on the record.
Yeah.
Because that didn't feel like me. So I was working out acoustic arrangements of all of the songs, and then was going to do like backing beats and backing production and stuff like that. And probably the best way to describe it would be like seeing Jeff Buckley backed up by Sneaker Pimps.
Okay.
And that was the original idea. But then as these songs got progressively more, like For the Devil got progressively more high energy, I thought, you know what, this is going to like, especially since I haven't taken Blue Stahli live yet, this would weird people out if they're hearing a song like Armageddon and like, oh, I'm gonna see Blue Stahli live. I'm gonna jump around, get all crazy, and they come to the show. I'm like, oh well, welcome to Simon and Garfunkel. That's on you. I already got your money. That's not me. So I'm like, I will do that, but I'll wait. I'll wait until after I do like a full on like rock high energy show. So the plan for it is to do like an ass-kicking 3-piece rock and roll band with backing electronics.
Yeah.
Like if Royal Blood were being remixed by Crystal Method. And so there's still a lot in that production that I have to that I have to work out. I won't be touring directly after the album, but I will be touring. I have a couple more albums to kick out before then. What,
more Blue Stahli albums, or is it another Anti-Sleep, or?
There's going to be 2 more Anti-Sleeps at least. There was an EP for Anti-Sleep 4, which is Anti-Sleep 4 Chapter 1, and that's that's on Spotify and the YouTubes and everywhere else right now. And a perfect example of like the multi-genre Stahli action, because you have everything from like the upbeat, almost chill wave EDM of Sunset Neon, and then spy tracks like Secret Agent Business and like indie blues rock. I'm gonna finish up that album. That'll be more of that like wild flailing multi-genre action. Mm-hmm. In Anti-Sleep Volume 5, that will be very much like it'll be very much like Anti-Sleep Volume 3, where it's all kind of pointedly directed towards like the darker end of like the trailer and game sound design spectrum.
Yeah. And
the thing that I'm really excited about is doing an album of tracks called Premonitions. And there's 2 of them that are out right now. The basic idea of them is, as I was working on these tracks, I would wind up playing the riffs and doing weird other things with them, trying to find the way in the song, and would find completely different directions that these things could go. But I'm like, well, I want to keep the song focused. I don't want to go in like a million different directions because, I'm not Dream Theater. I'm not. Don't listen to me if you want like progressive music. I do essentially pop songs that are loud. So every now and again, I'll see someone coming like, "Oh, why isn't this a 12-minute song that changes every 2 seconds?" Like, because you are listening to the wrong band. So to sort of get that out. As a perfect example, the song "The Fall" on the record "The Devil" is like a straight ahead, like Rage Against the Machine meets Muse style, mid tempo, fist in the air rock song with melodic vocals and like very tightly produced and mixed. And as I was messing around on an acoustic guitar one day, I thought, if you played that riff a little bit lower and really slow, you would have like this cool swampy dirge kind of thing. So I did that and recorded in like all acoustic guitar stuff and did some more like organic instrumentation. And that same song can either be this mid-tempo, fist in the air rock song with a pop arrangement sort of thing, or the premonition of The Fall, which is actually out. And if you go to youtube.com/Blue Stahli, you can see it in there. I actually edited together a crazy little video for it that looks like a trailer for True Detective. And it's this creepy, haunting, like Southern Gothic sort of thing.
That sounds really cool.
So a full album of premonitions that's like the next biggest thing that'll be coming out. And right now I'm working on remixes for something very, very cool that I'm not allowed to talk about. All I can say is that I'll be doing remixes for something awesome.
Okay, cool. I look forward to that.
Awesome. And I'll send it to you.
Yes. Well, 1 second again. Excuse me. All right. It is catching.
It is.
What kind of setup do you have in your studio? I only ask because I love making electronic music, so I have like my own DAW and everything like that I use. And I'm always interested to see what other artists use. So, what other like equipment, programs, things do you use to make your music?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything I've done up until very recently for Blue Stahli has been in Pro Tools, and I've recently switched over to Cubase. And each one has its pros and its cons. There are things I'm really, really enjoying about Cubase over Pro Tools, and I've also had way, way less crashes and way less connectivity issues. So that's been the main DAW for that. But also, since my roots will always be in the tracking scene, I'm diving back into the whole tracking thing. And there's a DAW called Renoise that is like the next gen version of trackers. Like back in the day, and especially when they were DOS based, it was really just a sampler plus sequencer. Like there was no way to draw automation, and there was no filters or VSTs or DirectX plugins or anything like that. It was just, here's a sampler, here's a sequencer, trying to do something cool with it. And now Renoise is where they're taking the modern functionality of DAWs like Cubase and Logic and Pro Tools and mixing that with the old school tracker style and aesthetic, and it's, God, is it great. I love the hell out of it. So the things that I'm doing now are kind of a mix of both Cubase and Renoise, and I'm actually going to be using Renoise quite a bit more. So the hardware side of the studio, I've got what is this? This is a M-Audio Axiom Pro 61-key MIDI controller, which is the same thing that Clay and I used live for Cell Dweller, because everything is totally mappable and it integrates really well. Yep. I have, for a mixer, a SSL X-Rack, so it's got really damn good separation with all of that. Got a little patch beta run things through. There's a Digi O2 that was there for Pro Tools, and miraculously Cubase will see it. So we didn't have to like tear out a whole part of that, which is, my God, that could have been a disaster. And I'm so glad that worked out. Yeah. And when I'm doing stuff at home, it's really just my MacBook. Like I still have yet to buy an actual interface or decent controller and things like that. I do a lot of programming in Renoise just at home, just taking the laptop somewhere, or I do a lot of traveling. So when I'm on the plane, or when I'm waiting for the plane, or when I want people to not talk to me, then that's where I can be found. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to check out Renoise because I've not used that.
Oh my God, it's great.
But I'm definitely going to check that one out just to see what it's about, because I kind of joined the digital age at a point where Cubase was running on an Atari Falcon.
Oh, okay.
So it was it was primitive. It was like green screen.
Sure.
But it was like a editable interface. You can move the blocks around to sort of create your song if you want. So you record it in blocks and just put it in sequence you want. But it was very slow. It took a long time to bounce down the tracks and everything.
Oh, I can only imagine.
But yeah, I've gone for there. I now use like for this interview right here, I'm actually using Ableton to record it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but Ableton was used extensively for putting together and running the Cell Dweller live show, and is probably what I will use to run my live show as well, because it's just, in a live situation, it had proved itself to be pretty damn rock solid for handling live input and stuff like that. So I should mention that as well for live action. And that's a very workmanlike program.
Yeah, no, I got it for its live capabilities as well. I've used it a few times, but I have like Logic, Cubase, things like that as well that I use for sort of my main songwriting work on there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really cool just to hear like new stuff like Renoise. I'd not really heard of it, so I'm definitely going to check that out and see if I can do anything with it. So, because I'm always looking for new ways to create sounds and things or put stuff together. So,
this is it's a completely different way of working than you're used to.
Yeah.
A lot of people see the interface and go like, "Oh, screw this! This looks like this looks like math, and my head hurts."
Yeah,
and it's because it does look like Matrix code filling up your screen. But my God, I love the hell out of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. It's because I like to put myself in like uncomfortable situations when it comes to writing things. Even with my work as well, I always put myself in those situations where it's where I'm not, like, say, most comfortable, and I always seem to. You grow more from it, and if I can figure it out and get something from it, then it's worth it. So
it forces a new perspective that you would not have otherwise arrived at.
Exactly. So I was just going to ask you: do you have any hobbies away from music?
I am so boring. I'm so freaking boring. Most of my time is spent with music, and it used to be that I would take long drives just listening to music, and now that's kind of been replaced. The driving and listening to music has been replaced with driving and listening to audiobooks, because I rarely have enough time to just sit down with a book and give it the time that it deserves. So, like commutes and travel and stuff like that, audiobooks are a perfect way for me to fill that time in. And right now I'm almost at the end of Joe Hill's NOS 4A2, which is one of the best things that I've ever read / listened to. Holy crap, is it good? Everyone should listen to that. And it's Kate Mulgrew who reads it. You don't want Captain Janeway to read you a story? I know I do. So that's definitely part of it. I mean, that'll also be just, going on walks into the wilderness and trying to get lost while listening to audiobooks. That's also, if you're listening to something like Laird Barron or something like that, or people who are doing more existential weird fiction, that's a really good way to turn a walk into a run.
Yes.
You're like, yeah, it's suddenly dark and the story's under my skin, so I'm going to run as fast as I can back to my house now.
Yeah.
I love the hell out of that, just finding weird little trails and walking and just sort of trying to get my brain to shut off or not think about, oh, how do I deconstruct this drum loop? Oh, how do I put this thing back together? And just have a different have a different vision, have some other influences. I love the hell out of film and things like David Lynch movies. I'm all about that, and movies that are still genre but a little more off the beaten path, like Kill List from Ben Wheatley is one of my favorite films. and I that's the sort of thing where it just, seeing such different visuals that I wouldn't have been exposed to, and seeing something a little more fantastical. Because if someone's like, "Hey, do you want to watch a really weepy family drama or coming of age story?" I'm like, hell no, dude! Like, your life does not have enough drama, so you got to fill it with more. Fuck that! I want robots, man. So, I like watching things of a more like, sci-fi, horror, cyberpunk, or all the way to the more like artistic, like David Lynch and Lars von Trier and things like that.
Yeah.
And just waking up a different part of my brain and taking in taking in any art I possibly can. So I don't miss a chance to go be around art, whether that's galleries or showings or just watching other people create. A lot of what I do to unwind is just kind of going off grid and disappearing. So I kind of love the random solo road trip out to nowhere with no particular destination and not really knowing how you're going to get back, but somehow finding a way back anyway.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I was gonna say, I'm the same with the music, and then listening to like audiobooks or
awesome.
Or like podcasts and things like that, just like talk radio of sorts.
Yeah,
just to get away from the noise that is in their head, like from the music. But I just finished was it Armada by Ernest Cline?
Oh, I had done Ready Player One, and I just saw that he had Armada out. How was that?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. I wouldn't say it was as good as Ready Player One, but it's a different story, but it's the same sort of format, if you will.
Gotcha.
A lot of like pop culture references.
Nice.
It's very Last Starfighter, if you remember that movie.
Oh, really?
You know,
I loved the hell out of the movie.
Yeah, so it's very like kid plays video game turns into a training tool. And the story goes from there. So, but it's really good. But yeah, I'm looking for another one now. So, my Audible account's just giving me an extra credit. So I'm just gonna.
Oh my God! Like I cannot say enough good things about NOS 4A2 from Joe Hill. Joe Hill is he's actually Stephen King's kid.
Okay.
And he uses Hill as a pseudonym, so he's like, don't like I'm not trying to be my dad, man. But it's very clear that he's his father's son. It's just so well written, and Kate Mulgrew was one of the best readers I've ever heard. Like I've lost count of how many times during driving and listening to this thing that I've out loud been like, oh my God. Or like clapping and cheering, like, yeah, screw that guy, yeah. It's really like I guarantee you'll get into it.
Cool. I'll definitely check it out.
Awesome.
So was it NOS 4A2?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The crazy thing is you'll even see it on the cover. It's a license plate, and it's said phonetically, it's Nosferatu.
Yes. When I said it out, I was like, that sounds like Nosferatu.
Yep. And like a crazy thing was I was driving and listening to that on my way to somewhere last Sunday. And while I was getting really into the story, I looked over to the car next to me, who was just ahead of me a little bit. And their license plate was VAMP1R3. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is like someone's out to get me right now.
Uh-huh. That's crazy.
But yeah, I highly recommend that. It's fun, it's scary, it's everything that you would want in that kind of experience, and definitely whisks you away.
Cool. Yeah, because I had a few when I was out walking my dog late at night, and I listened to, it was a podcast, like story podcast called We're Alive, sorry.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
And it's a like every week they came out with a different episode. It's like a zombie apocalypse survival thing. And it's like done like a proper old radio play. So you've got all the sound effects in the background. And I live in a relatively rural area.
Nice.
Particular episodes when I'm walking around, and because I've got my headphones on, it's done in stereo, so it sounds like things are creeping up behind me.
Oh, that's awesome.
So like you say, it turned a walk into a run. So
Yep, absolutely. If you want another like podcast experience like that, there's one called The Black Tapes that I love the hell out of. The Black Tapes podcast. It's a fiction story, but it's presented as nonfiction. It's done in the exact same style as Serial, and man, did they ever nail that style. Like, it sounds like you're listening to an episode of Serial, but it's like Serial meets the X-Files.
Okay.
It's probably the best way to describe it without giving stuff away.
Cool. I'll check that out as well, because like I said, I'm looking for new stuff to listen to, so
Oh, hell
You've
yeah.
given me 2 recommendations there, which I will check out. So
Perfect.
cool. Well, Bret, thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, man.
Thank you for your time. Let's do a quick plug for your new album again. It's called The Devil. It's out on October the 2nd. They can grab it from the Fixed store. That's fixtstore.com/Blue Stahli. Also check you out, bluestahli.com. Facebook. I'm assuming that's /Blue Stahli.
Facebook is facebook.com/Blue Stahli Music.
Blue Stahli Music. Okay. And Twitter is @Blue Stahli.
Yep.
YouTube. Is that just Blue Stahli as well?
Just Blue Stahli. I'm actually now on Snapchat as well. So if you look for Bret Blue Stahli, you will see me doing weird crap.
Cool. And Instagram and SoundCloud, we still on there?
Yep.
Yeah.
SoundCloud is just regular Blue Stahli. Instagram is blue_Stahli.
Cool.
Which I know I should probably change.
Cool. But yeah, so everyone go check it out. Get the album on October the 2nd. Are you still got your pre-order deals going on?
Yes.
Well?
Yeah. There's all the way up until the actual release of the album on the 2nd. You can go to fixedstore.com/the devil. And there's all of these, like, you'll see all the different tiered pre-order stuff. If you want just the album, or if you want, like, oh, I want the album and I want a t-shirt, but I don't want to pay I don't want to pay the regular amount for both of those. I want, like, a cool deal on it. Well, you can do that. So there's all sorts because there's a bunch of really cool new merch that came out for this as well. There's stickers. There's many new t-shirts. There's a really, really freakishly awesome poster that my sister, awesome fine gallery artist and tattooer Nicole Marie McCord painted, and it's just a really it's a really incredible thing. Like, hell, go there just to look at the poster. It's freaking awesome.
Cool, awesome, man. All right, thank you again. All right, and
thank you.
Good luck with your album. All right, it's a great album. I hope it does well for you.
Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate that. And good luck with all of the awesome stuff that you're doing. And keep doing it, man.
I will. I'm not going to give up yet. So.
Awesome.
All right, man. Thank you again. Take it easy.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. And there we have it. We come to the end of another great podcast. It was real fun to speak to him. I look forward to doing it again, maybe catching him live as well, which would be awesome. But yeah, check out his new album, The Devil. It's out on October 2nd, available from all good music stockists. Also, check out the Fixed store. That's FIXTSTORE. Check out the other artists they've got on there as well. Cell Dweller, Richie Nix, and a couple of others that they're all great. It's a great label. It's a good little movement they've got going as well. But yeah, check it out. Check out djforcex.com for ways to listen to my show, my radio show, because you've already got the podcast, so you know how to get that. But please, rate and review. That just helps push these artists, gets a little bit of, exposure for the podcast as well. But, I'm not really looking to sell anything anymore, apart from the artists that I have on here, because that's what this is here for. So yeah, if you can check that out, do that for me. That would be awesome. So until next time, this is DJ Force X out.